Okay, property tax. So that's another big one to calculate, highlight, right? Property taxes, big one. It's an ongoing cost, unfortunately, and it's substantial. And when you say, oh, when I rent, I don't pay it, don't fool yourselves. Your landlord has that built into your rent. Okay, so don't say you don't pay property taxes. It's in the rent, trust me. Property tax is composed of two subdivisions. There's education and municipal taxes. Whether you live in rural Manitoba or in the city, you're paying both taxes. Farmers don't pay, I think, education taxes. I think farmers are exempt. Okay. Property taxes are calculated based on 45% of the entire property, so the building and the lot. They don't tax you on the whole, they just tax you on 45%. The value that remains is referred to as the, write this down, portioned assessment, or portioned value is the same thing, or value. Let's just add that. Portioned assessment or value, it's the same thing. So portioned assessment, this is important to either they will just tell you what it is, but if it's not, you just take the value of property times 0.45, and that is the 45%, right? So that is important to note. Sometimes this is just given, so don't do this if the question says the portioned assessment is this, right? In dollar amount, don't be getting 45% of that. I'm gonna just briefly go over this. What makes up property taxes, right? What makes up property taxes? You have your education, municipal, and local improvements. Those three things are going to be on every single property tax bill. Well, you might say, well, what if there were no improvements made in my area? Highly unlikely. You know, every summer there's construction everywhere, right? So there's always something scheduled to be replaced. And so likely is that you will have some kind of local improvement taxes. But I will say this. I will use a different highlighter for that. For education taxes, you will need a mill rate. And for municipal taxes, you will also need a mill rate. I'll need mill rate. I will put that next to municipal because that's important. And I will explain what a mill rate is in just a bit. But usually the local improvements show up under municipal taxes. But these three components in all make up your property tax overall. Local improvements, there's no mill rate, okay? No mill rate for that one. What is it based on? It is based on the frontage. And if you remember, I briefly touched on that yesterday when we were going on the map. On that map where we go, the city kind of has a value for each property. It's based on the width of the front of your property. That's what local improvements are based on. Each local improvement tax is calculated as follows. This should probably be on your study sheet. So there's your width, right? The width. And this is, you're going to get this from a table. And get your pink chart real quick. We're going to just look at that. so you know where to get it. It's at the back of the handout. Now, sometimes you don't know where the front or back is, right? But just find this one that says local improvement costs for your property. This is actually from the city of Winnipeg. I will tell you that this is a little dated. They update this every year or every 2 years or so. This is probably 2018-ish, but the idea is still the same. So if they ever do like a concrete sidewalk, right, in your neighborhood, then that would be $7.86 for every foot of your property, the width of your, that's what determines how much you're gonna have to pay. Okay, so that's how they do it. What's the most expensive improvement that could be done in your area? You notice that one? If you go 3932, concrete street paving. If they pave the streets, if they rip everything out and they redo it with concrete, most expensive improvement in your area. Just you know. And so this QR code, I will touch on it again later, but it basically takes you to that website the city has, where you type in your address and it tells you how much your property is worth, what the frontage is, whether you have a pool, air conditioning, if your basement is finished, all those things are mentioned there. Don't lie about your basement not being finished, right? If you finish your basement, you want to let your insurance know, you want to let the city know. Some people are like, well, I don't want to pay property taxes because then my value is going to go up. If it burns down, if your place burns down and they find out that your basement was finished and you didn't report it, you'll probably be in trouble, okay? You might not get coverage. So it's not worth lying. It's not worth lying. You know that, right? Okay, there's a sample of the bill. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I showed you mine. That's what it looks like. Too bad it's not colored. When are property taxes due every year? The entire amount is due September 30th. However, if you're in the TIP program, you never worry about that. You just keep paying the same monthly amount and off, like you don't have to worry about it. You get the bill, it's all taken care of. I would say, I don't know, this is too much space on your study sheet, way too much, but this is how you calculate your property taxes. Okay, first thing you need to know that municipal and school mill rates, this is on page 68. They apply the property taxes calculated by applying municipal and school mill rates against portioned assessment. What is a mill rate? A mill rate is like a metric term, much like a millimeter. Mill refers to the unit of 1,000th, right? In terms of property tax rate, 1 mill represents $1, right? 1 mill represents $1 out of 1,000 of portioned assessed value. And it's just like, technically, when we were doing these ones here, guys, we don't call them mill rates, but they were technically mill rates. When you do your mortgage, these are all numbers per $1,000 of loan, right? So nothing really changes there. This is how you calculate property tax value. So your portioned assessment shows up here and here. Okay. Then you have frontage. I will use a different color maybe. Frontage. Right? There's a mill rate for this one, and there's a mill rate for this one. So to figure out your education taxes, you take the portion assessment. This is not rocket science, guys. You take what 45% of the value of your home times the mill rate, divided by 1,000, you get your education taxes. You repeat the process, right? 45% of the value of your home times the municipal mill rate. That's municipal taxes. For frontage, you use the improvement rate. I should say from table, right? From table. But sometimes, sorry, I'm getting warm here. I need to figure out my pattern here. There we go. The beast has risen. Okay, improvement rate, that's local improvement. So you basically would add this plus this plus this. So the net property taxes would be education, municipal, local improvements, watch this, minus credit. What other color do I have? Orange. Minus any credits that are mentioned, only if applicable. Only if applicable. If the question doesn't say anything about credits, then we're just down to adding up the three amounts we previously calculated. So you need to find a way to summarize this. I don't know if you just need to do this part here on your study sheet, and this is just going to be, something you just remember. Oh, I have to memorize things? How do you do that again? I'm just kidding. You know how to memorize. Note, sometimes you'll be given actual tax amounts, no mill rate necessary. So I could say, guys, the education taxes is $2,000, period. All of this is gone, right? Municipal taxes, there might be a mill rate, then you might have to do the math here. Some common errors: forgetting to calculate the portion value, forgetting to divide the mill rate by 1,000. That is by far the biggest. So your property taxes are like $200,000. I don't know. I wouldn't want to live in that world. Multiplying the improvement tax by the portion value. That's also like the students will just take the frontage and they multiply it by the previous mill rate. They just grab one of those mill rates and just go for it, right? Also not right. Okay, let's do one here. Page 69 here. Portion assessed values given. So I'm giving you that. The debut family owns a home with a portion assessed value. Circle that one. Right? Portion assessed value of $138,250. Taxed on this, right? Taxed on this amount. We're going to finish this example no matter what, okay? We need to finish this one. So that means that the house is worth way more than 138, right? This is just after the 45%. This is how much you're taxed on, okay? The municipal mill rate is 11.415 mils. So the municipal mill rate is this. The education mill rate is this. Who comes up with the mill rate? Your trustees come up with it. Like the trustees, they say, how much money do we need to raise this year? They know how much value of housing is in their area, and they come up with that mill rate. Municipal, same thing. The municipality will figure that out. So you don't have a say in it. You can't really fight it, as far as I know. There's a frontage of 60 feet, so that might come in handy. The families charge local improvement taxes, right? There's local improvement for road oiling and lane lighting. And there's a credit as well. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm breaking this down right now. So education taxes, we just go like this. Ed tax, I will take the 138,250. I will multiply that by the mill rate for education. So you go get it. It's this one, right? So it's 15.462. What are we going to do with that? Divide it by 1,000. Okay, make sure you do that. We're going to get that number. So let's go ahead and do that. 138. 250 times 15.462, and I divide that by 1,000, so that's 2137.62. That would be the education taxes right now. Next, I left way too much room, but anyways, the municipal taxes due. So municipal tax, copy paste. It's 138,250 times, there's a mill rate, which is going to be divided by 1,000. I'm not going to, maybe I can make, yeah, there we go. The municipal mill rate is 11.415. We come up with that value. So 138,250 times 11.415. I'm going to hit equals there and then divide it by 1,000. That's 1578.12. Let's do the improvements here as well. Improvements. We're going to do road oiling. That's going to be 60 feet times a rate we're going to get. Then there's lane lighting, which is 60 feet times a table rate as well. Let's go get those numbers. I'm going to talk about road oiling tomorrow, but right now just go find that number. There's road oiling, which is $8 per foot. So we're going to go times $8 per foot. Lane lighting, it's right there, $1.80. Hey, that's cheap. It's not bad at all. $1.80, sorry, per foot. Let's come up with those amounts, okay? 6 times 8, that's 480, right? And then 60 times 1.8, that's 108. So I would consider all of these, like this is municipal tax only, but these are the improvements. So we're just going to leave them like that for now. Okay. Let's figure out the net taxes for this family, shall we? So I'm going to go net is going to be 2137.62 plus 1578.12. School, municipal, plus, I'm going to add the improvements. And we have credits, right? Yep, 750. Don't add the credits. That's another common mistake. Just add, right? No credits. I'm going to make a note here, credit. So I'm going to add that up real quick. And that's it for today. I get 3,553.74. Let me just double check that. Yep, that's what we get. I would encourage you to try at least one question on page 70. And I won't post the answer. We'll just come back tomorrow and revisit. Thank you, guys.